All right, let's do I don't know. See who's here. Karen Schultz? Not yet.
Not yet.
Rachel Boyer,
Here.
Lori Fairbay,
Here.
Wes Durant, no. Kate Bliss,
Here.
Pat Wheeler,
Mm-mm.
Bob Blair, here. Chris Keefe is also in attendance. Victoria Flynn's in attendance. Is Margaret, or is she not being today?
She's here. I don't know if she's gonna be able to come or not. She might come late.
Okay. Do we have a motion to accept the agenda from the meeting on 10/26/21?
Oh, through the chair, who wants to take agenda? Because Karen's not here.
I was just starting to pull up a Word document for that now. Sorry.
Okay, all right, if you want to do it, Kate, that's fine, because if no one did, I would do it, so. Are you good with it, Kate?
Yeah, I'm good. I'll
Okay.
text it or email it to her later.
Okay,
Do we hear a motion to accept the agenda for the meeting on 10/26/21?
I make a motion that we accept the minutes for 10/21.
I second it.
All those in favor? Karen Schultz, not here. Rachel Boyer,
Aye.
Lori Fairbay,
Aye.
Kate Bliss,
Aye.
Bob Blair, aye. Passes unanimously. Would you care to enlighten us as to how many coins we have in our piggy bank?
absolutely. All right, so for the month of November thus far, since last meeting, expenses have been $403.23. We've had $112 even in donations. And my wages have been $951.07. With the rest of my wages coming from ARPA funding. So it's separate.
So do you, when you're working then, do you literally split your time between the two?
On the pay sheets that Kate has to sign, I put in so many hours through the town and then the rest of it goes through for ARPA funding. Because the town is still only paying me for 19 and a half hours.
Yeah.
ARPA's covering the rest. The 20 and a half to make me full-time.
And what's ARPA?
That is federal funding that was given to the town through President Biden.
Thanks, Joe. Okay. Tai Chi yoga,
Still both happening. Tai Chi's averaging 4 to 5 on Tuesdays. Yoga, we're averaging about 6 to 8 per session. Yoga's still joint between virtual and in person, and we're getting attendance for both. I don't have any updates in terms of the bus. We did have the Clinton item run the van driver position for 4 weeks. We're expecting a bill soon, but it hasn't resulted in much. What I can do is I can reach back out to the Clinton item and potentially also to the Telegram and Gazette to run it. I honestly don't know how expensive the Telegram and Gazette would be. But we can certainly do that.
have you reached out at all to the other COAs to see if they have van drivers who want some hours in Berlin that they cannot get at other COAs?
I reached out to a few of the other COAs just to kind of see what's going on with them. There's a few who are in very kind of similar situations to us in the fact that they have like one driver and they're just praying they don't quit. There's others where, ridership's kind of up or down. I can certainly send a blast. I think we're going to have a COA directors meeting in the next few weeks. I can certainly send a blast out to the people who participate in that as well and see if they have anybody who wants any extra hours. But unfortunately, in my last meeting I attended, there's other towns that are having other positions that are also not being filled. So unfortunately, it's not just a Berlin problem. It's a big problem. in municipalities.
Yeah, they seem to have problems getting drivers for everything, snow plows, school buses,
Yeah.
COA vans, the whole deal.
And if you look on like the MMA website, I mean, there's just like today there was like, I think a dozen jobs like uploaded. So it's like, there's a lot of turnover within the towns.
Okay. How do we, I'm just wondering, I'm still a little bugged by some of the terms that people are employed under, in that if they are part-time drivers and they're going to drive, say, for Tuesday, we expect them to commit time to be eligible to be able to be a driver during a certain period of the day, but we pay them only for the actual hours that they drive. And I don't know if that bums people out, so they think, what the heck, why, if I'm going to get 2 hours of pay and I'm holding myself available for 6 hours, that's kind of a disincentive.
The only thing that I think we could do is if, say, for example, we had somebody who we knew could work Tuesdays, Thursdays from like a certain time period, is when we resume the rides, we just make it abundantly clear, we only have rides these days, these times. And kind of prioritize it so that way we can almost make it where we're giving the driver everything humanly possible to make sure that those times are being filled so they can get paid.
Okay, so suppose we went on, I think it's critical that we have the van operating. I've been
I
asked
know.
about it a number of times.
Me too.
I just,
It's not for a lack of trying.
no, but I don't know what we need to do, but aside from setting out snares and catching
I mean,
people.
I can
Right.
talk to Margaret and see if we would need to try to raise the rate even higher, but again, I don't know if that's gonna solve the problem. Because that'd be us going back to personnel and asking.
Yeah,
And
Well, yeah.
then that would mean like for next fiscal year, we would have a small budget increase, but then that would mean that we would just have less total hours of potential driving capacity. Because we're still only gonna have that, generally that budget. So that's what we're looking at too.
if we get turned down by the personnel committee, maybe we could ask if anybody on the committee would care to volunteer to drive.
I've told a couple people I'll take them like here and there. Just, unfortunately, like my father-in-law may or may not be coming in. And I don't know like if he's gonna have to quarantine because he's coming in from India. Like there's certain things I can commit to helping people out, but I just may not be able to do everything. But if I can, I've told people I'll do what I can to help them out.
Hmm.
So, I don't mind taking my car and taking it, no problem.
Okay, it just, it's hand wringing won't get us anywhere. It seems a shame to have such a nice new van and it's just sitting there and people are asking for its
I know.
use and we're not able to provide. If anybody else on the committee has any clever inspirations about how to entice people to sign on as drivers, please step up and put the ideas out there.
Yeah.
Grab and go meals. My mother used to say when things got like discussions got heavy and sort of downer, she'd say, let's talk about something we can eat. So here we have an opportunity.
So let me show you this. Hold on just a second, guys. All right, can you guys see this?
Yeah.
So I was looking at their menu and
Can you increase the size a teeny bit?
how's that?
Better.
Okay. Let's see if I can- All right. So
okay,
here's what I
everybody?
was thinking, is that if we like look at the different entrees, because I was just trying to figure out, I don't know how much the council wants to spend per meal per person. I was thinking if we could maybe have it average around $13 a meal, that's probably about average, I would say. So, like some of the options that I was thinking of, and again, tell me what you guys think, are, like the stuffed shells are $3 a person. That's a really good, like vegetarian kind of option. We have a scrod here. a lot of the offerings that we had previously did have a fish offering that people did gravitate towards. And then if you wanted to do something like a roast chicken, you know, we could then look down and see like, you know, rolls would be like $1.50 a person. You could do like a mixed grilled or, you know, like a medley, something like that for another $2. You could do a potato for another $2. And then for, you know, a dessert, you could do either like an apple crisp, a pie, something like that. And it would keep you like around that $13 mark. I would suggest at most 3 options for the dinners and try to make like your sides, desserts kind of the same thing. And just then people are only just picking like, do you want meal A, meal B, meal C?
Yeah, so you said meal A, B, and C. So meal A is one of the entree options that you said, and then 3 desserts are available and they can pick any of the 3 desserts and throw it on with the entree.
Honestly, I would offer like 1 or 2 different types of desserts, 1 or 2 vegetable options, and then 1 of the 3 entrees. Because the thought would be, I think, is to make it as uncomplicated as possible. Like when we did it with Village Cafe, the sides to each meal stayed the same. The dessert stayed the same to each meal. It was just like, did they want fish, meatloaf, or pizza? That was the only choice. And everything else stayed the same. If we did something similarly where it would be like shell, scrod, or chicken, but like the potato is the same, the veggies are the same, you know, pie is the same. It might
Just
be
when you
slightly
do-
easier.
Just when you do fish, you know, rice or something of that sort tends to go better with fish than smashed potato.
Right. I mean, I'm just kind of giving you, they didn't have rice here. Well, yeah. I didn't
Rice
see
pilaf?
rice. Was
Rice
that on there?
pilaf?
And I missed it? Oh,
I
duh,
am.
right here. Okay. Yeah, rice pilaf. So again, like that could be a total option too, you know, or we could even like substitute the potato for rice, you know,
Yeah.
chicken, rice, veggie, you know, fish, rice, veggie, you know.
So these meals will be put up, and does each bag, well, it has to, I guess, each bag has to have the name of whoever's going to get it.
Right.
So they could theoretically give their preference for the side and dessert along with the entree.
Right. Like I said, I would just limit it to as much as like, you know, just say like, okay, these are the 2 sides, 2 potentials for dessert, 3 entree options. You have to call with each of these.
Yeah.
And, you know, but I just wanted to kind of get a better sense of, you know, like I said, I was thinking of about $13 a person. I just wanted to see if if you guys would want that, if you wanted it to be a bit more expensive, if you wanted it to be a bit less. Just because like I know that the fish is going to cost a little bit more, but then the shells are going to be a little less. So, you know, the chicken, the shell, and the scrod are going to be on average about $6 a meal.
The, is this price inclusive of delivery or is it all pickup?
It's going to be a grab and go. So what we would need to do is probably have a setup at, you know, potentially even like the town offices on like a weekend, like a Sunday, where people can just drive up, grab their order and go.
Okay, sounds like the logistics need to be worked out pretty carefully. So you have to be, how many people signed on last time?
We had, between the 2, we averaged about 100 meals.
Okay,
It wasn't 100 households though.
okay, but
was
100
probably
meals, 100 meals have to go out, and there's got to be a little time lag so that everybody, all 100 people don't show up at the same minute. And if that's the case, then the food's going to sit there needing to stay warm, which means we need to have warming ovens.
Right. And they may be able to do it. It sounds like, you know, they were, when I was talking to Tracy, she was saying that they do grab and goes like for other towns as well. So it sounds like they had the capacity to keep the foods warm, you know, and have everything kind of prepared to go.
But are they bringing it over here in warming ovens? Are we going there, picking it up, they delivering it, and we put it in warming ovens? How does that work?
Well, we wouldn't be able to put it in warming ovens because we wouldn't have a warming oven to put it in. The town doesn't have any.
Well, I'm warming to the idea of borrowing one or something, because I think if the caterer has one and is willing to come and do it, that must add to the cost somehow.
Here is what we can do, because a couple people have called asking about this, and I've told them that it's not that we're going to do it. I said, we're just doing it a little later this year, and people were fine with that. If you want, maybe what we can do is we can aim to do this like towards the beginning of the year, like as a nice like kickoff to 2022. If you want, we can finalize the menus and I can get, you know, firm details from them as to how the food would remain prepared and how it would be kept warmed. And as long as we would have a viable option to do so, you know, we could proceed forward.
Okay, the only thing that causes me any angst is the last 2 winters have been okay mobility wise through December, and then things get a little sketchy when you get into January and February. So I wouldn't want to have this all cranked up for a certain day and then kaboom, that's our big 16-inch snow day. So I would urge that we do it before Christmas. Do you think that
Okay.
that really is too tight a time frame for getting these details pounded out?
I would have to just ask them to see what their schedule is going to look like before Christmas, because it may even be something where it goes in between like Christmas and New Year's. Because Christmas Eve this year is a Friday. So, and because Christmas and New Year's Day are Saturdays, I would assume that like they would be, you know, like they're going to be off, you know, like a weekend would not be an option for the last
Right.
2 weekends of the month.
Right. So in other words, it would have to be before Christmas sometime, or it would have to be into January.
Yeah.
Why don't you, anybody else want to weigh in here? Some ideas, questions, concerns? Easy for you to say.
I think around the specific meals, I kind of agree that simple would be better. So I'm almost thinking, you know, $13 a person, I think is great with these prices. I think that would incorporate a lot, but maybe do, Victoria, like you're saying, an A, B, and C option, and we can actually pick. So A maybe is the fish with rice and veggies and some specific dessert, where the B might be the shells with a different starch, or, you know, just kind of pre-classified meals, I guess,
Yeah.
to choose from. Because I'm
Yeah.
just wondering for the caterer, like if we have so many different types of meals, then there's more room for error and people aren't going to get what they wanted. And so that's just a thought that I have.
And be keeping price in mind too, like the stuffed shells meal may come slightly with a little bit more food because it would be more cost effective versus
Yep.
like the scrod, where we may just have to do like, you know, the scrod, the bread, and then the rice, just again to kind of keep the price down.
Mhm.
Because I can see like a lot of people going for the scrod, but I also could see people, you know, going for the chicken or the shells or something like that.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, I agree with Rachel that, and you also, Victoria, that keeping it as simple as possible is avoids potential mess ups. Also, because it's simpler, it may be possible for them to do it in a shorter time frame.
The only other thing I would suggest is if we wanted to make sure that this was done prior to the new year, and we're looking at, you know, potential conflicts with Christmas and things like that, I can talk to Margaret and I could see, kind of what night, if we needed to do like at the town hall, say, like the grab and go portion of it, like what day of the week is it calmest here? Because if, say, for example, they say, like, well, Friday nights are kind of dead, or, like Thursday nights, there's not really much going on, but Tuesday, Wednesdays are super packed. Then, that's also an option too, where, it could be a weeknight. People could pick it up like on their way home from work, or, and if we really needed to, especially for the Northbrooks, maybe we could have their meals kind of put aside and just give everybody a heads up being like, hey, meet us down at the lobby. We can deliver your meals that way, especially for Northbrook too. Because I know that a lot of them probably would want to partake, but just wouldn't have the transportation to do it.
Yeah, I had asked, I think, in discussing this online about the possibility of our board delivering the stuff. I don't know if that's a scary prospect for anybody.
Let me just double check with Margaret and make sure Board of Health wise, we're okay.
Okay,
I think we could be okay. I just want to make 110% sure, because like their meals may have to purposely like be warmed and kept warm for as long as humanly possible before then they go out. Or like we would have to be very systematic about it, because we'd need to reduce the amount of time it could potentially cool.
yeah, right. Or somebody's car with a really great heater. Okay, so a few details need to be worked out.
So, I mean, it is doable to potentially pull off before the end of the year. I would think that like by like Tuesday, the latest, like we'd have to have the details kind of set up. So we could have enough time to post it, give people a chance to reserve their meal, and then, pull it off before the end of the year. If we wanted to wait towards even like right after the new year, I think it's going to be easier to pull off. But I'm totally with you too, in the fact that like, once you hit January 1st, well, I mean, even now, you don't know what's going to happen. And, maybe we could even build in a snow date with them as well, saying, okay, if it's going to be a snow out
Yeah.
this day, we do this day.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I was just thinking, usually we have some idea when these things are forecasted, that if we need to have a backup.
And do you
No.
think people always prefer the meals hot, or would it ever be an option to serve them cooked and cold and then the ability to reheat them? Or is that just not preferable for people?
I can ask Chef du Jour, like if they could prepare the meals, as in like portion them out all together, and see if we could, have it be something where, they could just like heat it in their own ovens. The only thing I think would be, again, too, is still you're looking at like the Board of Health and just making sure that these ingredients are just properly then cooled instead of warmed.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense.
Especially like if you're doing, between the cheese of the shell, the fish, and the chicken, like, because there's risk of like salmonella and other things. I mean, like I said, I do think it's potentially possible. I think it's just going to be the logistics of minimizing the risk and being as time efficient as possible.
Yeah, typically, well, I hope it doesn't end up looking like the Meals on Wheels meals, because they're in a tray with plastic over the top, and that's, I mean, they're not horrible meals, and when they're delivered, typically one is frozen and the other is a lunch warm meal. And since I go like hell, they don't really get either hot or cold.
Right.
But that's, if we could, I don't know how Chef du Jour presents these, but if they weren't in a plastic tray with a clear plastic thing over the top, I think they'd look a whole lot more palatable.
Okay. Maybe we can see.
Some cheap china and silverware or something. No, never mind.
Well, we
Or-
do have like plates and cutlery and stuff like that here too, that we could, from our stash, that we could include if we needed to with each meal. Baggies, things like that.
Yeah, but then you have the situation of having to get the the cutlery and put it in the package and make sure the name is yada, yada.
Hmm.
Anybody else have any opinion on the time frame? Instead of squeezing it in before Christmas, we should do it in January, or how do you feel about that?
We could do it that week after Christmas. There's the 27th is a Monday, and we could do it 27, 28, or 29. So it's right before the new year.
Why don't you play that out, Victoria, with Chef du Jour?
Okay,
And I don't know what their bookings are like around the holidays either.
I don't know. I'll have to see. I know that week between Christmas and New Year's for a lot of companies tends to be a week that everybody takes off. So I will ask them and see if they would have availability that week. If it looks like it doesn't, do we want to then push it to January?
I have no opposition to it being in January.
Okay,
Yeah, I would probably say it would have to be January, then we won't be able to do it sooner. There's a
Okay.
break.
it would be tight. I mean, I think hypothetically, I do think we could do it sooner, but I don't think we're gonna hit the capacity of people who would benefit from it than if we waited a little bit. Because if you give 2.5 to 3 weeks for people to decide and then call in, it gives you enough time to get a firm number of, people getting their inputs in. If you do it with like less than a 2-week turnaround, you're gonna get a fraction of who could benefit.
Okay, so are we agreed as a board that we'll go with a longer time frame and look for early January? Or end of December, as Laurie's saying?
Yeah,
We need-
I agree with that.
Okay, so here's what I can do. It sounds like preference would be end of December, like after Christmas, if at all possible. If not, we look at beginning of January.
Sounds good.
Okay,
That's good.
okay.
Okay, do we want to vote on it, or is that the consensus seems to work?
I
Oh,
think,
what the, what the hell? Let's vote on it.
Oh,
Karen,
do you guys like the idea of the shells, the scrot and the chicken? Or do you think that we should offer something else instead?
Oh, that sounds good to me.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's a good standard option.
Okay, okay,
sounds good.
okay. Go ahead, Bob.
So approving the, going forward with this and aiming at end of December or beginning of January is the motion. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
All right, in favor, Karen Schultz,
Aye.
Rachel Boyer,
Aye.
Laurie Fairbay,
Aye.
Kate Bliss,
Aye.
Bob Blair, aye. So passes unanimously. That's what we're up to time-wise and menu-wise at this stage of the game. Any other discussion on that?
Yep,
Yip or noop was that? Was that a
Yes.
noop or yip?
I don't know who said it, but
that was me. I'm sorry. I thought you said, are we done? And I said, yeah,
Oh,
My bad.
okay.
I strike my yep.
Twinkle Tour. Does the COA want to co-sponsor it? I think that's, well, I don't see us not endorsing it, but I don't know what we're doing to actually help it, that we would be considered a co-sponsor.
I spoke to Judy on Friday. We filmed another little blurb talking about the Twinkle Tour. I'm gonna try to personally help her with doing the map for the town and just getting everything kind of set up with her. She's got a lot of people already signed up for it. It sounds like there's like a lot of prize money already kind of set up for it. I worked with her as well to try to just get the flyer fixed. So this is what the flyer looks like. Hold on a second. Yeah, I know.
I thought that was cool. She got her school bus van. She's gonna be able to drive it several days. That's
So
really nice.
yeah,
addition.
I mean, they were awesome. So this is just basically like what they're looking at, like the Twinkle bus is being offered. At this point, she's they're contacting her directly as to whether or not people want to be participating through van service and, you know, if they need any special accommodations for it. So I don't know like how many people have signed up through the Twinkle Bus, but you know, she's at least offering it. It's, you know, I'm so glad that, you know, she's able to do this and, you know, beyond sweet of her to donate her time to do this. So I'm just waiting for her to get the final house count and or business count, and then I can try to work to get the map finalized, hopefully before end of week. But I figured, you know, I just wanted to ask if you guys wanted to co-sponsor it with,
Yeah, I mean, if we have skin in the game and we're actually helping with it, then that's great. I
I
think that's
sent out
appropriate.
185 flyers at the school the week before Thanksgiving, so we are sort of kind of in it already. I did
Good.
exchange emails with her today though, and she hasn't had any interest on the bus yet, but it's still fairly
it's early.
new. Yeah.
And it's gotten a ton of hits on Facebook. We're over,
How
we're
many
over
people have signed up so far?
on the bus. I don't know because they're not calling me, they're calling her.
Oh, do you know how many
but-
people like signed up for the tour itself, not to tour, but to decorate?
As of Friday, I think she said it was almost 40.
Oh, that's
wow.
good, because the last time I
Wow.
talked to her, it was in the 20s and she was aiming for 40, so.
Yeah, it was, I think it was just shy of 40 as of Friday.
Yeah.
And what was it last year? Like something like 60?
I think it was
60,
like 55 or 60, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So,
think it'd be very good. And they have these Christmas tree signs they have up are so much
yeah,
better.
those are great.
Yeah,
than
she
we had last year.
she said that somebody was willing to donate their time to make them for her. She had the wood, they did it for her. They're beautiful. I mean, there's one outside the town offices here. They're beautiful.
Yeah,
And you know, it's thankfully it's getting a lot of hits on Facebook. I think we're at 12 or 1300 hits already. So
Wow.
like people are happy about it again. And Brittany's working on the, you know, the video flyer again. So that'll be out soon. So I think it's gonna be like a nice standing tradition going forward
yeah,
Great.
for the town.
Wahoo!
It's wonderful.
yeah.
And
I think
I
it's
was
cool.
telling Judy, maybe next year what we can do is I can talk to some of the other local councils on aging and maybe we can do like a town like bragging rights competition, you know, where we get like other towns involved and,
Yeah.
you know, winner gets bragging rights or something like that, you know.
See whose idea is the brightest,
Hmm.
so to speak.
Well,
All right.
so,
Upcoming events, you have elder law attorney
Oh,
meeting.
did
on
you
the
guys
first-
want to vote on this? I'm sorry.
Oh,
And
Oh.
and what are we doing to help exactly?
To just help get everything kind of finalizing with the organizing and getting the word out.
Okay, so more like organizing, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Somebody want to make a motion?
I'll make a
I'll
motion that we
motion.
co-sponsor.
Second?
I
I'll
second it.
second that.
Karen, all in favor, Karen Schultz,
I,
Rachel Boyer,
Aye.
Lori Fairbay,
Aye.
Kate Bliss,
Aye.
Bob Blair, yeah, aye. Unanimous. All right. Is Pat Wheeler on? Did she come in
No.
yet?
No,
Okay. Rats. All right. So we are participating officially. That's great. Upcoming events, you listed the elder law attorney meeting on the 1st of December.
Tamari,
Say what?
tomorrow.
tomorrow, 12/1.
Tomorrow, yes. All I heard was something Mari, and I think, what? Okay. I'm getting hearing aids tomorrow.
About time.
What? Sorry?
Love you too, Bob.
This
Art
is why I
activity.
liaison this group.
Art activity in the COA room, is that December 13th?
Yep.
That'll
So
be
we've
the first one?
We've got a bit of stuff going on in December. So tomorrow we do have the elder law attorney. It's virtual. But what we're gonna do is, it's Attorney Christine Romano. She's based out of Northborough. She is basically gonna be doing a question and answer session and talk about the importance of, getting your affairs in order, different things that you can do to help yourself prepare for future potential crises, things like that. So I think it's gonna be really good. I don't think we've had anything like this before. And I'm sure Karen and Rachel can also attest to this, like in our field, it's vital.
Absolutely.
And it's something that a lot of people don't know about until they're in a crisis, and you can never be too prepared. So I think it'll be good, and it will at least give people, some more information, and it will be a potential, just if we need to have, future webinars or future sessions going forward about specific things. I think that this is just a good bouncing off point.
What was her last name, Victoria?
Christine Romano,
Can you spell that? You have the spelling?
Romano.
That's simple. Sorry.
All good. So that's tomorrow. Thursday, we're doing our blood pressure clinic again, with Neshoba Boards of Health. The
What's the
13th,
What's the access point on the elder law attorney?
it's Zoom.
Zuma. Okay, and that was
So
put out,
people, it's sent out through Facebook, through our page, town page, and Berlin Neighbors Connect.
okay,
People can join the meeting and they can submit questions like during the webinar. And it's also going to be recorded so we can get it all over cable access,
good.
and I'll have a write-up for it in the Powder House. And then depending on the reception tomorrow, I think we could potentially have this again ongoing.
What time is it tomorrow?
10:30 a.m.
Okay,
And what time is the pressure clinic?
10 a.m. on Thursday.
And is that 1 hour, 2 hours?
1 hour for the blood pressure clinic.
Okay.
and that's in the COA room.
Yes.
Have you had any indication of interested parties yet?
The word's out there. It's gotten a little bit more feedback than it has previously, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
Okey doke.
Are you
Um,
still doing flu shots too, or no?
No,
Okay,
but if anybody needs help getting a flu shot, call me and I'll help them get set up with it.
okay, just do, in case people ask me too.
Yeah,
I think they're pretty available at the CVS in Northborough that I.
they
go
are,
to.
they're pretty available with most places, but if anybody's homebound or is unable to physically leave to get a flu
Right.
shot, the Neshoba Boards of Health can make arrangements to go and, give the flu shots out in home. And I have had a few families, work with them to coordinate that out. So that is an option if for anybody in need.
Excellent. All right, Powder House News.
Oh, I got 2 more events.
You didn't put them on the thingy here. Okay, go ahead.
On the 13th, we're gonna have our arts and crafts.
Okay,
We'll have
And
that start about 11:30 in the morning,
COA room.
COA room.
Yeah.
And then on the 16th, we have a presentation for a webinar. And it's this organization called FCP Livin'. And what they do is they can work with families to provide a live-in so people can stay in their homes.
Oh, live in.
Yes.
FC, live in,
Yes,
okay.
live in, yeah.
It has to do with jobs so people can make a living.
Ba-doompa.
Maybe I need hearing aids. I'm having a hard time. You laugh, my
Well-
husband.
Victoria can do signing though. That's good. So those are the activities.
I'm sorry, the
How-
present, that webinar is at what time on the 16th?
11,
11, and that's a virtual also.
yes.
Got it. Okay.
Okay, anything else on upcoming events? Oh, just, you probably all know it anyway, but this Saturday is the kickoff to the Christmas in Berlin with the Twinkle Lights tour and the tree lighting and all of that. And apparently quite a bunch of stuff going on around First Parish Church and that whole area. Righto, Powder House
Okay.
news updates.
Can I ask you a question about the Twinkle Tour?
Yeah.
I think people were asking me last year and I didn't know how to answer. So they apply to put lights on their house or in their yard.
Mhm.
And when is the last date you can apply to do that? Is it up until the voting or?
I think Judy wants to try to get as many people registered by Saturday as possible. Just because round one of maps are hopefully gonna be done like Friday, I'm hoping. I think as of last year, I don't remember like a firm cutoff date. But I think the thing is that like the earlier you commit, the better chance you have to be voted on, the better chance you have to win a prize. But there's been people who told her at the end of the day that like, we're gonna decorate. We don't want to be like entered into the contest, but we just want to decorate to participate. So she's had some of those as well.
Okay,
Yeah, I had to type up rules for her at one point, and the rules, and I can circulate it to you if you want. I do think she posted it on Facebook though. That if you are participating in the contest and not just doing it for fun, you don't care if you get voted in or what. You have to have all your lights up, ready to go. And, obviously sign up for it on the 4th. And you have to run them every single night from 4 to 10 p.m. until the 18th when they vote.
okay.
She was specific about that. Some of the other rules were, be a decent human being kind of thing, like don't vandalize, don't be loud as you're driving through neighborhoods and disrespectful of people's property, stuff like that. But she did say they have to be on from 4 p.m. or, when it gets dark to 10 p.m. the 4th through the 18th.
Okay.
Thanks, Kate.
She did also, if somebody just wants to be festive and only has 1 or 2 things, go for it. Just because you don't necessarily want to be part of the contest doesn't mean you can't be festive. And
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
I got my candles in the windows.
Sounds good.
Bob, you're on mute.
You're mute.
How about now?
Now you're good.
There was something screwy going on with mine. People were freezing and the voices are coming in strangely. It's that hearing aid thing again. All right. Now can we talk about the Powder House news?
Yep.
Yeah.
Good. I think in terms of meet people, an obvious choice would be the new police chief. Does anybody have a suggestion on another town mover and shaker to interview?
Did you guys ever do Goody?
As the school resource officer or as just
In general?
one of the nicest cops in town? The only, I don't know, Chris, what do you think about that? The only thing I would be concerned about on that, I mean, I love the guy. I think he's terrific. But I wonder if that would raise anybody else's hackles or jealousy or anything in the department if we interview one of the officers and not others.
I don't think so. You could always ask Eric what he thought.
Yeah.
But maybe just to ask him to talk about resource officer, because that's what he does that the others don't.
Okay.
Could we
Opposed
would-
to
could we do
interviewing
all-
the others? Oops, sorry, Lori.
Sorry, can we do all three? Do Goody,
Yeah.
Eric, and the new police chief?
Eric
Well,
is the
Eric-
new police chief.
Eric's the new
Oh,
police
he
chief.
is.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I didn't know
We got-
that.
We got a twofer there.
Yeah, why don't we do both?
Or, I mean, if you guys wanted to, we could even do like a write-up talking about like the police department in general, like the fire EMS in general. I could ask the chiefs if they would just be willing to do that.
Oh, yeah, I mean, we could feature different town departments, the meet and greet. I don't know, does that fit that format or are we doing individual? That has been individual so far.
Up to you guys.
What's
I'm
your
just,
opposition, Bob, to doing the other individual officers? Is
Well,
he
sorry, what was,
frozen? Do you not want to do the other officers? So maybe we start with Eric and Goody and then we can do other officers after that? They just come first?
then hang on still?
You're frozen.
Robert,
Me.
oh,
Yeah, how many police?
What the heck?
I heard that.
This is bad tech. I don't know what's shaking here. Now I see Laurie coming back. And I'm hearing everybody. For some reason, this twice now, the thing has gone to the sort of fractured voice and people freeze up on the screen. So it might be
it
just
says
when I-
your bandwidth is low, Bob. So like your internet connection's not great.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, I should probably do this in a different room next time.
I
Or
was
out,
just,
out in the
I was
street.
I was just checking to see how many policemen, women there are in town, and Dennis thought it was 12 to 14.
Yeah, I think that's police and then how many in the fire department and how many on rescue. I think maybe doing the departments as departments might be cool, but if you do each individual officer and each individual
Okay.
fireman, each individual
That's
rescue.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Chief Shartner's a good idea. Is there anybody else then, looking at department heads or, that you guys would think be good?
Well, is the new head of highway officially locked in now? Chris?
Fred is our interim until, I believe, February. And then we have to decide if we're gonna go back out again and do another search or what we're going to do. I was just talking to Margaret about this today.
So
not
it'll probably be
David?
premature to introduce him as the new head of the highway department. If it's not-
Probably, but I mean, you could still talk to him as far as, what does the highway superintendent do?
I'm
Well,
gonna
that'll be
see
a-
Fred in the morning. I can always ask him, we can even, ask him just kind of in general, like what's highway, it's the three of them right now. So, oh no, I'm sorry, there's the fourth one. The fourth one just got hired. Like, what are the four of them doing? Especially with wintertime coming. It's gonna be busy for them.
Well, that would be a departmental article again, as opposed to doing the meet this person, that person.
Right.
So I'd encourage us to think about finding another individual in town, and I think doing the departmental focus is a good idea as well. I think for as a standalone, I just, speaking of the Powder House News, Louise Janda had tuned in that the publishing cost for that is covered by the ads in the Powder House News. And the publisher has said that the ads that we have presently don't cover the cost of publishing. So Louise sent a list of a whole long list of different businesses and organizations in town who might be contacted to see if they want to advertise. And the way that works is you give Liturgical Press or Liturgical Publishing Salesforce those contacts, and then they make the contact.
Mhm.
And if there's at least a good potential, it would increase without making it look like an advertising sheet. It would increase the number of ads to cover the cost of publishing now, and hopefully an additional 2 sides or 8.5 by 11 2 sides that could go in the middle of it to give us a little more space.
Yeah.
Does that sound reasonable, Laurie?
Are you gonna come up with more copy?
Well, that would be the idea. Unless people are going to use the additional sheet as substitute for a dish towel or something, but
I would say, let's see if we can get the sponsorship to warrant us to get some extra pages.
yeah,
If that winds up being the case, we can even use those 2 pages to be something maybe where it could be, you know, like in the past where we've had like the flu clinic sign up or something like that, or maybe like that 2 side is maybe something where if we want people to kind of keep that page for, you know, like the calendar or like a sign up sheet or something like that, you know, maybe we could do that. Just depending.
Or if
You
we-
know.
or we can use it as a questionnaire sheet if we want to do questionnaires about any different subjects, because that's been an issue in the past, and it requires a whole bunch of mailing costs if it isn't part of the newsletter.
Right.
Okay, so I think I'm eager to see what the sales force is able to accomplish in town. I think it'd be terrific if we actually boosted the revenue from the Powder House News to make it pay for itself and expand.
So our last publication date for the year is December 24th. I'm sorry, December 21st, December 21st, which is that Tuesday before Christmas. So I think we got to get it to Lori by the 15th. Lori, is that enough time?
Yep, that's plenty of time. Yep.
Okay. And I'll send out my reminders to all the chiefs and all the beers about content as well.
Okay. Anybody have any additional thoughts about something else we can focus on? We did one on the garden at the end of Pleasant and 62 in the last edition, and then there are lots more stories around town if somebody has an inspiration that would be worth exploring.
Do we want to do a blurb about the Twinkle Tour? Or like something Christmassy?
That might get people to sign up for more of the bus
Yeah.
tour. if-
But it'd be too late for that.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right.
It won't be until
Well-
January.
Do we, is there anything that like First Parish, does, or any of the local organizations do to like kind of celebrate the new year? Or like, I don't remember if there's anything.
I don't know. They have their own newsletters that they send out, but
Okay,
I imagine if they did, they'd put it in Berlin Neighbors Connect, which is some, in a way, Berlin's town paper. Powder House News is in a way also, but only for the senior households.
Hmm.
Maybe we can expand the Powder House News and just make it for everybody in town, and then they subscribe, and then we make millions, and then we can have a 30-page edition.
yeah.
There you go.
Oh,
We need a
Millions.
newspaper.
Kate has reserved enthusiasm for this.
It's just a lot of sarcasm, Bob, that's all. I'm trying to match your sarcasm.
I see.
Good luck.
All right. Any other business? Monkey or otherwise? Okay.
The only update for you guys is so all department heads have to submit budget requests for FY '23 by December 6th, so that's gonna be Monday. It's looking like we're gonna get about a 2.5% increase in our overall budget from last year. So that means that we're looking at like an extra $1,500 that I'm putting towards expenses.
Okay.
It's roughly $1,500, give or take. I haven't done the formal calculations yet, but it's just about $1,500. So what I can do is at next meeting, I can review that with you guys just to see what I've budgeted and just, kind of explain to you the reasoning behind it. Nothing is set in stone per se. Like if something's designated $200, that doesn't mean it has to necessarily go towards that, but just kind of the rough idea of where I think the money's going to go.
Oh, one thing that I had mentioned to Victoria that I would very much like to see occur is members of the board who are interested in doing so work with Victoria to establish a short and long range goal or set of goals for what the COA is going to offer and ways to go about it and all of that.
We do have a capital request submitted about looking into getting a senior center. Nothing has been formalized as of yet. It's just the proposal. And it would be, 3 to 5 years out. It would be, having the town survey what buildings are currently available for use, looking to see what would best fit the COA needs, looking to see what potential, renovations or upgrades, things like that would need to be done. Just generally speaking, that's the request that's been submitted. I haven't heard anything yet from capital planning. I'm probably going to have to meet with them at some point about this, but that is something that we are looking at.
Okay. Is anybody on the board interested in working as a committee to consider goals and objectives for the next year and 5 years? You can submit your willingness anonymously in a unmarked envelope and give it to Victoria or me or both. But I think it behooves us to work on that, to sort of work out a roadmap of where we think the COA can and should go in the next periods of time. All right, so the next meeting is on the 28th of December at 4 p.m. Do we have any other business? Anybody want to bring anything else up? Very good. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make
Oh, I
a
guess
motion.
after
to
the same
adjourn.
meeting.
Mhm.
Do I hear a second?
I'll
All
second
right.
it.
Very good. All in favor, Karen Schultz,
Aye.
Rachel Boyer,
Aye.
Lori Fairbay,
Aye.
Kate Bliss,
Aye.
Bob Blair, aye.